boleh panas, kita mah gaya bebas. Bebas.
What the heck is this thing called Arduino? Well, Arduino is a tool that helps you control electronic stuff with code. So if you're building a house, you'd probably go grab a hammer. Well, if you're going to build a project using electronic stuff, grab yourself an Arduino. But what do I mean exactly by electronic stuff? Well, let's make two big general groups, inputs and outputs. Inputs are devices that gather information, and outputs are devices that have some action in the world. So for inputs, think of things like temperature sensors, light sensors, touch sensors, flex sensors, humidity sensors, infrared sensor, distance sensors, just to name a few. Then you have things like outputs. DC motors, stepper motors, servo motors, LEDs, LED strips, buzzers, speakers, LCD displays, OLED displays, the list goes on. What Arduino can do is stand in the middle of these input and output devices and control them with some cool logic that you get to create. So Arduino can be used to read inputs and control outputs. Okay, so now you have a general idea of what Arduino is. It's a tool to control electronic stuff. Great. Okay, but how do you actually get started using Arduino? What do you have to do? So here's what you're going to need. We're going to talk about the big three. It's what I like to call the Arduino trifecta. You've got Arduino hardware, the Arduino IDE, and the actual Arduino code that you're going to need to write. So first, we have the physical component of Arduino, which is called an Arduino board. There's a bunch of different types of Arduino boards out there. When someone says Arduino board, it could mean a number of these different circuit boards. In just a little bit, I'm going to tell you exactly which one to go buy if you haven't purchased one yet. And here's some quick good news. If you have bought one already, it's probably going to work just fine. Now, all Arduino boards share one thing in common. They have a microcontroller on them. A microcontroller is basically a really small computer. So when you use an Arduino, you're really just using a microcontroller. The microcontroller is what enables us to read those different inputs and control those outputs. So again, when somebody says Arduino board, they're talking about something physical. It's this printed circuit board, and it's got some electrical components on it. We'll dive into this in a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna need an Arduino board. The next thing you're gonna need is the Arduino IDE. That is the software that you will use to actually write the code that is then going to get loaded onto the Arduino board itself. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. In just a moment, we're going to walk through downloading the Arduino IDE to your computer. It's totally free, it's pretty darn easy to use, and it's an amazing tool that's going to get you up and running super fast. All right, the third part of this Arduino trifecta is the Arduino code itself. You're going to need to write some code inside the Arduino IDE that is ultimately going to get loaded onto the microcontroller that's on the Arduino board you're using. So the Arduino code that you write is called a sketch. So that's like a little bit of jargon there, right? So normally you write a program. Well, Arduino, they call it a sketch. And this Arduino code itself is basically C and C++ programming languages, but it's got some Arduino specific functions and structure. So when you program an Arduino, you're basically programming in C and C++ programming languages. Now, C code is blazingly fast. It is used all over the place, from mission critical code on spaceships to GPUs running machine learning algorithms. If you are planning on learning to program Arduino and this is your first programming language, you should be super stoked because everything you learn in Arduino is going to help you understand other programming languages. It's not like Arduino is some weird esoteric coding language that has nothing similar to other languages. And it's going to give you a step up on learning to code other languages like Python, Java, or whatever you want to take on. So those are the three things you're going to need. An Arduino board, you're going to need the Arduino IDE, and then you'll have to figure out how to write the code that's going to control this electronic stuff. So we are going to be diving into all three of those things. I hope you're pumped and excited to start learning.
Program ide Arduino adalah lingkungan pengembangan terpadu, Integrated Development Environment, yang digunakan untuk membuat dan mengembangkan proyek-proyek elektronik menggunakan platform Arduino. Ide Arduino memungkinkan pengguna untuk menulis kode, mengunggahnya ke papan Arduino, dan mengontrol perangkat keras melalui perangkat lunak. Dengan ide Arduino, pengguna dapat menulis kode dalam bahasa pemrograman berbasis C, yang kemudian dapat diunggah ke papan Arduino menggunakan koneksi serial atau USB. Ide ini juga dilengkapi dengan berbagai fitur, termasuk penyorotan sintaks, saran otomatis, dan fungsi pemecahan masalah untuk membantu pengguna dalam mengembangkan proyek-proyek elektronik mereka. Ide Arduino dapat digunakan untuk berbagai macam proyek, mulai dari proyek sederhana seperti mengendalikan LED hingga proyek yang lebih kompleks seperti robotika, otomatisasi rumah, dan berbagai jenis perangkat elektronik lainnya. Hal ini membuatnya menjadi pilihan populer di kalangan pemula maupun pengembang yang berpengalaman dalam bidang elektronika dan pemrograman mikrokontroler.
Oke guys, sekarang waktunya sesi instalisasi aplikasi Arduino IDE. Yang pertama kali adalah kalian bisa klik browser kalian, kemudian masukkan link ini arduino cc./in/software. Kemudian kalian enter, kalian tunggu sebentar. Nah, kalau sudah memasuki web seperti ini, kalian bisa baca. Ini paling atas adalah Arduino versi terbaru, yaitu 2.1. Karena kita menggunakan versi Windows, apalagi Windows terbaru, kalian bisa klik paling terbaru nih, Windows 10 atau yang terbaru 64 bits. Kalau kalian pengguna MacBook ataupun sejenis iPhone, kalian bisa menggunakan macOS ini nih. Nah, karena kita menggunakan Windows, kita klik ini, tunggu beberapa detik, kemudian klik yang ini, just download, tunggu beberapa detik. Kemudian nanti akan ada seperti ini, mendownload. Ya, aku stop aja karena sebelumnya aku udah pernah download aplikasinya. Klik aja langsung kalau udah selesai, kemudian klik agree, next, kemudian install. Karena sebelumnya aku udah nginstal aplikasinya, otomatis aplikasi lama ini akan terhapus sendiri. Kemudian ada notifikasi kalau sudah terhapus. Tunggu beberapa detik hingga aplikasi terbarunya terinstall. Nah, karena aplikasinya sudah selesai, klik finish. Otomatis nanti akan run aplikasi Arduino. Tunggu beberapa detik. Dan beginilah tampilan awal dari aplikasi Arduino ini. Semuanya sudah tersedia di sini dan ini cukup rapi ya guys. Dan buat manajernya juga ini. Ya, begitulah. Terima kasih.
This project is about smart sound sensor. These can detect loud conversations and can automatically record that sound. These devices can be used in silent zones like libraries, hospitals, and labs. These can also be used in schools and colleges to maintain decorum. We will learn a lot from this project. Now let's have a look at the main components that we will be requiring for this project. Arduino Nano, sound sensor, Bluetooth HC05, jumper wires, red LED, and a buzzer. Now let's try this out.
Hello.
Isn't this interesting? If you want to make this project, you can follow the link in description or visit Electronics for You website for more cool and awesome projects.